Even as a youngster, I was interested in growing plants. So I joined College of Agriculture in Pune and I graduated from the Pune Agriculture College. And then I, because of family compulsions, I joined a corporate body in agriculture machinery first, and then agriculture chemicals, and finally petrochemicals. And in petrochemicals, marketing of agrochemicals was a part of my responsibility. As I was marketing agrochemicals, I realized that I was perhaps going in the wrong direction. And therefore, at the age of 60, I said I want to retire from the company. So at that point, my managing director said, "Why do you want to retire? You're quite active and healthy. Why don't you continue?" So I said to him that I want to change direction. And since then, since retirement, I've been concentrating on organic farming. That's now about 23 years. No, 20, yes, 23 years. So I've been concentrating on organic farming and I really enjoy it. Organically grown produce is richer in minerals and antioxidants. Calcium, magnesium, iron, phosphorus, potash. These minerals are higher in organically grown produce, not by just 10-15%, but by 200%, 250%. Now, antioxidants give you a higher disease resistance. The product, therefore, is higher in nutritional content. Because we are not using chemical fertilizers or expensive chemical pesticides, the input cost in organic farming is lower than that of conventional farming. If it is marketed properly to those who are conscious of the benefits of organically grown produce, he can get a better price, 35-40% higher price. That's a good question. The thing is, organic farming is labor intensive. To give you an example, 1 acre of field, if it is to be treated with chemical fertilizers, you need about 3 or 4 bags of chemical fertilizers, you spread that. But if that same area is to be treated organically, you need 14-15 cartloads of bulky organic manures like cattle dung, compost. These are all bulky products. Secondly, when a farmer grows a green manure crop, he incurs all the cost of raising a crop, but then he cuts it and buries it into the soil because he wants to enrich the microbial activity so that the product comes out richer in minerals and antioxidants. Therefore, because of these two reasons, organically grown produce is costlier than conventionally grown produce. If you really think about it, our entire civilization depends on what happens in the top 9 inches of soil, the food production zone. The top 9 inches of soil is brimming with life. It is full of life. There are microbes, and under the term microbes I include bacteria and fungi. They are invisible to the naked eye, but under the microscope you can see the different forms that exist. You can classify them, you can even count them. There are microbes that fix atmospheric nitrogen straight into the soil. There are others that fix atmospheric oxygen straight into the soil. But most microbes loosen minerals from the soil and make them available to plants. Now, this is a function that only microbes can perform. Plant roots cannot loosen minerals from the soil. They can only absorb what is loosened by the microbes. This is a type of fungus with a long thread-like body. One end is fixed to the mineral in the soil, the other end is fixed to the root of plants, and the mineral travels through the body of this fungus and enters the plant root directly. It is fascinating what is happening in the top 9 inches of soil. There is virtually a biological engine there that is working day and night to feed the plants. What do we do in organic farming? We just see what is happening in a forest and replicate that on the farm. We must understand what is nature's design. In a forest, you see big trees, small trees, shrubs, creepers, all kinds of plants. And in the soil, you have the microbes. The plants depend on microbes for their nutrition, and microbes in turn depend on plants for their nutrition. This is nature's design. And under this design, both thrive. The plants thrive and the microbes thrive, as you can see in a healthy forest. But when man started agriculture, in our country about 5,000 years ago, he cut down the trees, cleared the land of trees, and started sowing crops. At that point, this relationship between the plants and the microbes was broken. It is the objective of organic farming to restore this broken relationship between the plants and the microbes. They do that by following 4 different practices. What are those practices? The first practice is, because there are no leaves dropping to the soil and becoming humus, you add organic matter in some other form. That some other form is cow dung. Cow dung is a rich source of organic matter and it is food for the microbes. You add cattle dung or cow dung and see how green the field has become. See, even if there are no trees in the field, there are trees outside. You can collect leaves from those trees outside the field and compost them and use it in the field. There is another important thing, and that is mulching. And there the same leaves can also be used for mulch. And I'll tell you what is the advantage of mulching. You see, these microbes have lived in a forest environment for centuries. Now, in the forest, the sun's rays don't reach the soil directly because the canopy of the trees prevents that. When in the field, because the farmer has cut down the trees and exposed the soil to direct sunlight, these microbes are uncomfortable. To make them comfortable, a farmer lays a layer of leaves or green leaves, dried leaves, or even grass or paper, even paper for that matter, to prevent sun's rays hitting the soil directly and making the microbes uncomfortable. In green manuring, a farmer grows a crop, and when it reaches a certain height, as you see here, he cuts it and buries it into the soil. The objective is to increase the organic matter content in the soil so that the microbial activity increases. Now, mind you, when he does all this, he does not get a marketable produce for his efforts. He is doing that merely to enrich the soil. In green manuring, it's a sun hemp. This is a sun hemp plant, and there are nodules on the roots of a sun hemp plant which have microbes in it, bacteria, which fix atmospheric nitrogen straight into the soil. So there are these 2 advantages when you do green manuring with the sun hemp. The organic matter content in the soil improves, the microbial activity increases, and the plant fixes atmospheric nitrogen straight into the soil. This was a stack of paddy straw stored to be used as cattle feed. Someone by accident lit a fire there, and the whole thing has been turned into ash. But in organic farming, there is no wastage. This ash is rich in minerals and potash, and therefore it will be used to enrich the soil by using this ash as a manure. Organic matter is food for the microbes, and that's why it's important. But I'll give you an example here. I was in Alaska, the city of Anchorage, and I was stunned by the beauty of the flowers. Vibrant colored flowers everywhere, roadsides, traffic island, growing vigorously, hanging from lampposts, hanging from balconies. With the permission of the Alaskan authorities, I brought a small sample of that soil here to India and got it analyzed for just one characteristic. What is the organic matter content in that soil? I told you that because of centuries of cultivation and the tropical sun, our soils are poor in organic matter. The organic matter content in our soils is 0.2% to 0.46%. This sample that I got from Alaska showed an organic matter content of 13%. It's not that the Alaskans are adding a lot of organic matter to the soil, it's just that they don't have the tropical sun to burn it away. So if there is one reason more important than any other for poverty in our country, I think that reason is the poverty of the soil. Because so long as the organic matter content in the soil is low, the microbial activity is low, and if the microbial activity is low, plant nourishment suffers. When you use chemical fertilizers, they are very strong and you have to irrigate copiously. Whereas in organic farming, the use of these organic materials like cow dung and compost and green manure, their water requirement is much less. And therefore, even if the rain fails, there is no chance of the whole crop being lost, which is the case in chemical fertilizers. In chemical fertilizer, if the rains fail and you are not able to irrigate, the crop is gone. Whereas in organic farming, the crop is not totally gone because the water requirement of organic farming is much less than chemical farming. We have a powerful asset in the form of a huge biological engine in the soil that is lying dormant because of centuries of cultivation and the tropical sun. If we can revive this engine and rev it up using the principles of organic farming, it has the potential to propel the country forward because it improves the health of consumers, it improves the health of the soil, it improves the health of the incomes of farmers, and indeed it can propel the country forward.